She is going to talk about glucose data for personalized diabetes management. To introduce Dakshita, she is our respected and renowned senior from Nair and Raheja Hospital, and she is presently diabetologist from Mumbai, and she is director at the Conquer Diabetes Center, which is an ISO 9001 Diabetes Care Center. She is also founder member of our group, that is United Diabetes Forum. And over to you, Dr. Dakshita.
Thanks, Rahul. Thank you so much, chairpersons, all the chairpersons and delegates. It's a privilege to be part of this scientific feast. A big thank you to Dr. Vanchi Sabu for making me part of this. One second. Making me part of this. I want to see the presentation. A big thank you to LifeScan as well, and a big thank you to Dr. Banshi Sabu for making me part of this presentation. So without wasting time, I would just go into my presentation. So topic given to me today is glucose data for personalized diabetes management. We all know that one size doesn't fit all. When it comes to shoes, clothes, we are always particular. Then it should be perfect with our needs. So whenever we are wearing perfect shoes, our feet are comfortable. Whenever we are wearing perfect size clothes, we look smart, and everything. The overall result is very good. So when it comes to our delivering diabetes care to our individuals with type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetes, for that matter, any individual with diabetes, we have to have a customized approach. We should not have a very rigid, suboptimal approach when we are treating our patients. We are still treating our patients with a glucocentric approach, which is right. With respect to our guidelines, landmark studies, we are always, a fan of that number, HbA1c less than 7%. And what has happened in the past, from 2005 to 2018, there are numerous technological innovations, but there is absolutely no change in percentage of patients. There is no increase in number of patients who are less than HbA1c, which is actually our target. Now let's see what are the challenges in diabetes management in last few years. There is definitely ever-growing number of lot of diagnostic and therapeutic options, so many novel drugs, so many novel insulin delivery system, insulins and monitoring devices, but still our people with diabetes are not able to achieve the treatment goals. First thing, the guidance maybe is not sufficient right now from our side as well. What is the option? Option is there has to be a shared therapeutic decision making process. We have to involve physician and the patient both as a team, and we have to integrate digital tools. In this era of pandemic, we have realized the importance of digital education, digital tools, telemedicine. So we have to integrate digital tools in the patient education process, in the monitoring process, and we have to analyze and visualize that data, and we have to incorporate that data for management of type 2 diabetes successfully. Now, what is the real world approach? Personalized diabetes care is definitely a real world approach where we are catering to specific and unique needs, preferences, and values. We have to have an individualized approach. And what is this individualized approach? American Diabetic Association, EAST, and all the numerous professional bodies, they all the bodies have endorsed a fantastic approach. It has to be a patient-centered approach. It has to be a personalized approach for the successful management of type 2 diabetes or type 1 diabetes as well. Now let's see, whenever we are saying personalized diabetes management, few points we have to consider. First is clinical characteristics, second is personal characteristics, and we have to look into the last but not the least, psychosocioeconomic factors. First thing, patient's age and life expectancy. We cannot have a standard approach for all the patients. If the age is young, life expectancy is definitely more, the exposure to hyperglycemia is more. In view of metabolic memory legacy effect, we have to have a very tight glycemic control. But if the patient is with long-standing diabetes, age and presence of comorbidities. If they are present, then definitely the A1C targets can be little relaxed. Duration of diabetes matters, same with what I just mentioned. Glycemic control history is very important. Whenever we are flipping through the file, we are seeing the A1C control, and then with good history, we have to pinpoint what is the adherence to the therapy or treatment inertia, or maybe patient some depression factor. What are the points which are responsible for bad glycemic control? We have to correct those factors. Comorbid conditions, vascular conditions, definitely patients with renal impairment, or patients who have long duration of diabetes, who have autonomic neuropathy, risk of hypoglycemia unawareness. These are few clinical characteristics we have to pinpoint whenever we are starting treatment with patients. Now, few personal characteristics. So every patient cannot be the same patient. What are the patient's preferences, his lifestyle, his health beliefs? Whenever we are educating patient in education, busting the myths is very important. If you have to have a very successful treatment in your type 2 diabetic patients, health beliefs, if they are not, if they are myths, you have to bust those myths, and we have to have a dedicated diabetes educator, if possible, with us to pinpoint these factors. Something like treatment inertia, injection inertia. If patient requires injectable, if patient requires insulin therapy, we have to see to it, that we help our patient to overcome that inertia, and we help our patient in adherence of the treatment. Now, what are the psychosocial economic factors? Patient who is having complex treatment regimen for oral glucose lowering therapy, injectable therapy, he has to have a good support system for his nutrition management, his exercise management. The support system history is very important. Psychological status: 50% of our type 2 diabetic patients, or for that matter type 1 diabetic patients, are depressed. We have to first treat that depression and then go ahead with the treatment. Economic issues, I don't have to elaborate on that in our Indian Asian setup, but definitely these are few factors we have to look into. So after analyzing the clinical and the history, what are the successful steps for personalized diabetes management? First thing is patient education. I am so happy that I am allotted this topic, because I believe in strong patient education foundation and patient empowerment. So structured patient assessment and training should be done at the first stage. Then there is structured with respect to individual therapy. Then documentation of all relevant patient information and progress should be done. This documentation is very important. The history point of view, patient's blood sugar point of view, because this is our Bible. This documentation of information is what is going to help us in future to manage that patient. Then there has to be a systematic approach in analyzing this situation, the reports and blood glucose management. And there has to be a very important point, joint decision making. It has to be a shared decision making between healthcare professional and a patient, so that we can have a successful individualized treatment strategy. And lastly, treatment effective analysis and necessary actions should be taken for adherence of the treatment and the success of the treatment. The last line of this slide is very, very important. SMBG is a very powerful tool of patient education, behavior modification tool, but it is absolutely meaningless if it is not structured. Everyone knows that, and everyone believes in that. So this structured SMBG involves checking the blood glucose levels at predefined times each day. It has to have a very methodical approach. We have to give them pre-meal, post-meal days, and there has to be one sequence in which patient has to monitor the sugar, so that we can understand glucose patterns throughout the day, and then we can have appropriate therapeutic adjustments. Now, when a clinician and patient, they have to have a good willingness, they have to be motivated. Very important, that motivation for performing repeated SMBG is very important, at least in the initial part of treatment of diabetes. And then we have to have a proper knowledge to interpret the glucose levels, the patterns, and then eventually taking actions by looking at these patterns is very important, because these are the actions which are going to escalate our diabetes care. we have a fantastic digital tool to empower us and our patient in personalized diabetes management. Smartphones have revolutionized everything, education in all the areas and in diabetes as well. It has provided a real opportunity to improve diabetes care by enabling patients and HCPs as well to exchange information. This is a very I would say a novel word. Exchange of information always leads to great results. So exchanging information remotely with potential to minimize or eliminate some routine office visits which are unwanted. So on the regular basis, patient can be in connected connection with us. Let's see how easily it works. Whenever patient is performing blood sugar, at that moment it is a very simple way to check your blood sugar and deliver insulin or maybe any glucose lowering therapy. Then later on, when that is connected with our smartphone, we get the information and it helps our patient to take the right decisions. Then later on, over the time, when the data gets collected, personalized visuals and tips are there to help you achieve success. And when you come to your doctor, you go to your HCP, during the visit, these visual reports, I'm going to show you a few examples of visual reports, which will help you and your doctor to discuss lot of options, and that is going to have a patient-centered approach when we are treating our type 2 diabetic patients. So few particular events and activities from patient data can be pinpointed, which can go unnoticed. It is a very easy way for your patients to see the patterns. When it is an excellent behavior modification tool for the patients when they see the pattern of the blood sugars, and then they take the actions, and patients feel a lot of empowered. Seamlessly, it shares your data with your physician. It is a digital tool, so you don't have to physically visit your patient. And in this pandemic, we have realized the power of this technology more. Exchanging specific insights, you can have some feedback from your HCP digitally, and it enables your patient to review this patient case in one glance. It is very, very time saving, and you can make the therapy adjustments absolutely correctly. Now, how does it work? This glucometer gets connected to your Android phone or any iPhone. There is a web app for the patients and there is a web app for the HCPs as well. Patients, they have personalized visuals and colorful visuals that has got a lot of impact, and gives them some tips to help them achieve success. There is a web app for HCPs as well, and visual reports can be downloaded, and you can discuss these reports with your patients. What is working for patients, what isn't working for the patients, that can be discussed at any time and from anywhere, any part of the world. And looking at the academic part, it can be used as a population management tool. It can filter and sort the patient information according to multiple factors, whether it is a type 1 patient, you want to see the patients who are below 70 sugars, or out of the range, or age group wise, everything can be done. And this data can be used fantastically for producing your academic work or a scientific work. Whenever it comes to technology and logging in, patients are really scared. This web app, patient's web app login, should be, according to me, done in your office, in your clinic, in front of you. It's very simple. Your educator or your sister, in fact, you can also help the patient. That login, once it is done, I think the half the job is done. And this web app is from the doctor's side. Patient accepts the request from the patient side. This is the list of the patient's data. And if one patient is coming to me, and if I want to have a quick glance, there are these you can see the windows, and there is one window which can just show you the fastest way to see patient's report, then patient's average SMBG reading, blood glucose, number of hypo and hyper episodes, and when was the meter synced last. Everything can be seen in this slide. So this data populates automatically, and no manual work is needed. Patient doesn't have to have those logbooks which they traditionally used to have. Now you can do a quick subgroup analysis, as I just mentioned in last two slides. That patients subgroup analysis can be done for your scientific work. You can distribute patient from the type of the diabetes, then age-wise distribution, gender-wise readings, average blood glucose, how many patients were actually in the range between 120 to 180, how many were above 250, how many had hypos, and how many patients had this assisted device, pumper patients, everything you can produce from this software. Then you can download the whole report. Now there are few things which we can see. This is the report, graph by the time of the day. Many readings are recorded by patients religiously, and at one glance you can identify the problem area. If you see this patient, on the horizontal axis time and on the vertical axis there are glucose readings. This is a patient who is going in hypo typically between 12 and 2 a.m. and then later on the fasting is going high because of Somogi effect. The maximum high sugar is, I think, probably post evening snacks, just before dinner. That is the time our Indian patients they binge. So these are few problem areas we can pinpoint. Red is high, green is normal, and blue is lower, hypoglycemia. Now let's look at the glucose excursion. Nowadays TIR, time in range, that is the main thing, indicator of glycemic variability, and we don't want our patients to be not having hypo, but we want patients to be in the time in range. And I think this patient 52% of the time he was in time in range, and only hyperglycemia was not the problem. Hypoglycemia and hyperglycemia, they had equal episodes. So these are the patients who had equal glycemic variability. So now we should not be just pinpointing toward hyperglycemia, but there were 25% time that patient was below target range. So I feel if we want to have less glycemic variability, first thing what we have to do is correct hypo. Once we correct hypo, I think the hyperglycemia will be taken care of. So these are few readings. Now, comparative statistics, it's a fantastic tool. These are the patients, dedicated patients who are performing sugars. Uh, Probably this is the type 1 patient, type 2 patient having at least 7 to 8 sugars per day. I am not recommending those many numbers for all the patients, but these are probably some problematic patients who are doing SMBG so religiously. So in the month of November, in the month of say December, from 29th of November to 28th of December, in that month, overall average sugar was 169. Probably he visited the doctor on 28th, some or maybe telemedicine, and few insights were given, few treatment changes were done, and his average sugar dropped from 169 to 126 in the month of January. Again, standard deviation also improved. It was 78 milligram per deciliter, which came to almost normal 60 milligram per deciliter. Number of readings were escalated. Probably patient was a highly motivated patient. So this is the kind of progress report we see in patient, and compared two period values of patient to know the prognosis at glance, and then we can customize the therapy accordingly. Again, this is a fantastic study from 5 UK centers. Around 128 patients were included in this, and this is can patient insights between visits and remote HCP via text message improve glycemic control. This is a diabetes app related text messages from healthcare professional in conjunction with this new wireless glucometer technology. Color range indicator improves glycemic control in patients with type 1 and type 2. Both the type of patients were included in this randomized control trial. And subjects were switched from current blood glucose meter to either VideoFlex, and one group was allotted VideoFlex plus additional OTR, that is one touch this app technology, for 24 weeks. SMS sent by HCP every 2 weeks after reviewing 14 days OTR app reports, and all subjects asked to reflect upon on CRI alone or CRI plus OTR app for insights and decision making. And what was the result?
Sorry to interrupt, Dr. Rishita.
Yeah, I'm done, sir.
Yeah, okay.
There was A1C reduction of about 0.5% with blood glucose meter alone, and glucometer plus OTR app, there was a reduction, very significant reduction with 1% of A1C within 24 weeks. So this assisted digital technology is definitely proving to be very, very effective. So in summary, the diabetes management definitely involves complex decision making, A personalized approach is definitely for the care of individuals, and it is going to provide a unique management plan for each patient. This connected technology will support personalized diabetes care to great extent. Again, just to emphasize that education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. And if we have a better, sharper weapon in education to deliver diabetes care, effective diabetes care, why not? Thank you so much.